F1 is back, and we are back. Welcome back to the We Miss the Exit show. The basketball show will continue on as scheduled, but obviously with F1 being back, we are going to be doing our F1 show as well. So here we are with the Bahrain Grand Prix preview, the first race of the season, and without further ado, let's get it going. Um, Not a whole lot of news yet. F1 is back and couldn't be more happy. Stroll did injure himself biking, and he's still going to be racing. Guess there's some discomfort. It's all about managing pain. Lots of drivers have managed pain. It seems like he's doing okay. You'll see that when we get to qualifying, but not a whole lot of other news at this point. The Bahrain Grand Prix, the Bahrain International Circuit, is the race is tomorrow, just about 12 hours from now, and first race of the season was interesting last year. We'll see what happens this year for the grid. We'll get back to our usual setup when the season gets going, a little bit easier to read. But Max Verstappen, Red Bull, Max Verstappen is on pole for the second time in a row. Sergio Perez is in second, and with the pole sitter, they haven't won this race in I don't know how long. It's been quite a few years, so we'll see what happens. Um, just a tenth over Perez, so the whole pack was pretty tight. So Perez second, so we have a Red Bull 1-2. Leclerc third, Sainz fourth. Leclerc didn't take his last lap, which everyone thought was interesting and thought maybe it was mechanical until they came out later and said nope, it would had to do with tires. They're saving fresh set of softs for the race tomorrow, which is good strategy. They are right in line with Red Bull, so that signs or Leclerc's probably trying to miss out on that curse of not winning from pole in Bahrain. Again, last year both Red Bulls didn't even finish the race; they had mechanical issues. So we'll see what happens this year. Sainz is going to be in fourth, so we have a Ferrari 3-4. Fernando Alonso making headlines. He's in fifth. He's having a great preseason, and he had a great qualifying. He qualified ahead of Russell, who's going to be in sixth. Hamilton's going to be in seventh. Stroll's going to be in eighth. Ocon's going to be ninth. Hulkenberg is going to be 10th. Norris 11th. Bottas 12th. Zhou 13th. Sonoda 14th. Albon 15th. Sargent 16th. Magnussen 17th. Piastri 18th, De Vries 19th, and Gasly 20th with a deleted lap. So my predictions for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think Max Verstappen breaks the curse and he finishes first. That Red Bull looks fast, and I have Perez right behind him, and I have Leclerc third, Sainz fourth. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have not changing at all. Um, I'm Last year was a new car. I think Red Bull got their stuff figured out for this year. I think they'll be all right with this race. That car looked fast. Ferrari looks really fast. You can't count out Ferrari making mistakes during the race. Hamilton, I got in fifth, getting past Russell, who I have in sixth, Alonso in seventh, Ocon eighth, Norris ninth, and Stroll 10th. Norris had pretty bad qualifying. Those McLarens look slow, but Norris is a great race driver. I think he'll be able to get up into the points, get up into ninth. That Alpine looks not that great either, so there's a good chance that Norris gets around him, around Ocon. We'll see what happens though. My season predictions for this year. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube. We do post that stuff on there as well. Not so much on Twitter. That's more of a lazy thing. Not so much on Twitter these days. Um, but do follow us on Instagram. We did post I did post my predictions the other day of the season, but here's the full predictions for the drivers. I have Max Verstappen winning his third consecutive championship. I think Perez is going to get second this year. Leclerc third, Sainz fourth. I do think Hamilton kind of pulls it together and ends up in fifth. I think Alonso has a great bounce back year. I think he really likes the Aston Martin car, and I think he ends up in sixth, ahead of Russell. Um, Russell was I called it last year. I was saying Russell, I think, just got lucky, um, and I think that luck continues to this year. We'll see. He had a great qualifying, but Um, I think he's more lucky than good, and he got away with a lot of stuff last year as far as pretty erratic driving. So we'll see what happens. Same with Hamilton, but Hamilton, 7-time world champion, so can't really argue with him being a great driver. We'll see what happens. Maybe he's out next year and Schumacher's in, but we can talk about that later on in the year. All right. And so after Russell, I have Norris. That McLaren does look pretty bad, but Norris is a great driver. I think he's probably third on that pack. Verstappen, Leclerc, and then I have Norris third in that, Russell fourth. As far as the drivers from kind of that era, and I have Ocon ninth, Stroll 10th, Bottas 11th, De Vries 12th, Gasly 13th, Sonoda 14th, Albon 15th, Sargent 16th, Piastri 17th, Zhou 18th, Magnussen 19th, and Hulkenberg 20th. Hulkenberg, yes, he qualified very good. I think a lot of factors contribute to that. I think Haas doesn't have a great car this year. Everyone's talking about how Williams and I think it was AlphaTauri uh, didn't have great practices, didn't start off great, but I think Williams figures it out. They had a great end to the season last year. I think holding them back a lot was Latifi. Well, I know Latifi held them back, so I think they're going to have a much better year, a much better car. Albon, I think, is a good driver. I think Sargent's a pretty good driver. I have Piastri behind him just because that McLaren looks pretty off. Zhou is kind of a wild card, but I think Magnussen did and finish behind um, Schumacher in a majority of the races last year. He just had more points, and I don't think that Haas car is going to be great. I think Haas is on the decline, and I don't think they'll be here in 2026 when we get the new engines. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, those are my predictions for the 2023 season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Um, I don't think I made slides for this, but I do have as far as best rookie driver, I have or rookie of the year, I have De Vries. He raced last year, obviously, in Williams and scored points on his only race out there. I think he's a great driver. He's great in Formula E, so we'll see what happens. The AlphaTauri, who knows if it's a decent car or not, but I think he has the skills to do a decent job with it. And I do think he finishes above Sonoda. Um, let's see, what else any other surprises on here other than that? Oh, biggest driver regression I did, Kevin Magnussen. He finished, I don't remember what it was last year, but I have him in 19th. You know, I, well, we'll get to the teams in just a second, but here they are. So I do think Red Bull obviously is going to end up in first. Ferrari's I have in second. Mercedes third. Aston Martin fourth. Alpine fifth. AlphaTauri sixth. McLaren seventh. Williams eighth. Alfa Romeo ninth. And Haas 10th. Um, like I said, Haas I think is just going to fall down. I have them as the biggest team regression. I have Williams as the biggest team that to improve. Um, Going from last to eighth, I think getting rid of Latifi is definitely going to help them. I think they'll figure out whatever's wrong with their car. Last year was the first full year of the new ownership, so I think they have a lot of updates that are going to come down the line. McLaren says they have updates coming down the line, which I think will help them out, but we'll see what happens. That car was rough last year, and they just have a lot to figure out. Um, and Alfa Romeo, they're they were kind of all over the place last year. They're not trust and I don't trust them, and that's why I have them in ninth. As far as fantasy goes on Grid Rivals, I have Sainz, Hamilton, Sargent, De Vries, Fernando Alonso, and Aston Martin. Feeling pretty good about my chances. Wasn't willing to pay up for the two Red Bull drivers. And I felt Leclerc was a little bit overpriced, so I went with Sainz. I had to get some money out of it, so I felt like I got some good drivers and held a lot of money to take some chances later on. Like I said, find us on Twitter at We Miss the Exit, streaming on Twitch at We Miss the Exit, Instagram at We Miss the Exit, and YouTube uh, is also We Miss the Exit. We do mostly Instagram. A lot of it's updates on the basketball. So if you're into basketball, do check that out. We do a show, kind of sporadic, but it seems to be about every other week on Friday or Saturday that goes up, and it's pretty funny. We put highlights of that on Instagram. Like I said, we're not much on Twitter. A lot of our Twitter's retweeting sports stuff and video game stuff. So thanks for watching, and F1 is back. Can't wait for the race tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.